Hello, everyone. My name's Jim Babalis, Workplace Relations Legal Officer. Here today I have with me Bree Marinier. Hi, Bree. How you going?
Hi, Jim. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Listen, today we're going to be talking about a very interesting case, JCO v Bindaree Foods, recent decision, obviously on appeal. Quite an interesting one.
So, Jim, this is a case that addresses the proper length of a meal break. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. So, what was the issue?
Well, in this particular case, Bree, the employer, Mr. So, sort of ruling from the Fair Work Commission that the removing and donning of his PPE was to be considered work and that he really should be back paid overtime and that his break time should really, I guess, exclude this particular activity. I guess, as you can imagine, this is a prevalent issue right at the present, specifically, I guess, in the healthcare sector, particularly, I guess, in the COVID environment, where the donning of PPE really is a must.
So, can you elaborate on the background of the case?
Absolutely. So Mr. Jaso was his name, was an employee of Bindaree Foods, which is a meat processing plant and based in Queensland. The employee claimed that he was not receiving the full 30 minutes of unpaid meal break that he was entitled to receive under the specific award, which is the Meat Industry Award 2010. The reason being he claims that he had to remove his full set of PPE prior to commencing and completing his break, which he claimed took approximately 10 minutes.
So, what PPE did he wear?
Listen, the PPE that he was required to wear consisted of several items, being the following, and it really was, I guess, six things if we could break it down. Number one, a white uniform shirt and white uniform pants. Two, rubber boots. Three, these blue gloves, plastic arm sleeves, and a plastic apron. Four, a hairnet and a beard net, obviously, if necessary for many employees. Fifth was a plastic cap and earplugs and earmuffs. And lastly, gloves and cut-resistant gloves as well, because of the amount of knife work involved. In addressing the particular issues, the Commission viewed that what was really needed was to consider whether the donning and removing of the PPE was work, and the Commission acknowledged that there is universally applicable definition of the term work, of course. Whether an employee is entitled to the payment for these activities or tasks, and whether those activities or tasks are work, really, I guess from the Commission's perspective, would depend on a number of matters, not the least being the manner in which any relevant industrial instrument deals with the payment for work and its definitions, and also the employee's contract of employment. And that really was what the Commission really considered. And the Commission in this particular instance accepted that in this particular case, the activities were preparation for work as opposed to actually starting work.
So, what decision was reached?
Really, I guess at first instance, what the Commission determined was that the donning and removing of the PPE was to be considered work, as indicated a little bit earlier, and really instead this was an activity in preparation for work. The 10 minutes that was required to don and remove the PPE was not considered an unreasonable amount of time. And in making the determination, the Commission also relied on the fact that, the employee was being paid above the award rates and that his employment contract prevented him from recovering any additional payments in respect of, I guess, his employment that he was already receiving.
So, can it be said that this decision left unanswered questions?
Absolutely. I guess particularly because there was a degree of this, I guess maybe a liberal interpretation about whether the donning of the PPE was work and also that it was not time consuming. I think that threw a few things into the mix.
Then, what happened after this?
Yeah, listen, leave was granted to appeal the decision. On appeal, the full bench considered that the meal break clause of the award should be interpreted as providing employees with a 30-minute break. And this is really to engage in meal-related activities or other activities of the employee's choice. If the employer requires an employee to undertake substantive tasks or activities before they can commence their 30-minute break, the period of time, I guess, that is reasonably required to undertake those activities or tasks really should not be part of the employee's break. And really what the Commission was saying is that this needs to be considered work. Um, Also, the Commission indicated that, or sorry, the full bench, sorry, indicated that the meal break activities that the employee is required to undertake both before and after the meal break, and this extended to the including the donning of the PPE, were considered, I guess, activities which formed really a key component of, the employer's business. If the employee or the employees do not properly adhere to the hygiene and the safety processes, and I guess a general, health and safety practice, then the employer would not be able to operate its business, effectively. Um, the full bench also indicated that although the meal break activities were considered essential aspects of the employee's, job tasks as a worker, he was also he was required by the employer to undertake these activities and was not able to choose whether or not he engaged in some or all of the meal break activities. So essentially, I guess what the full bench was saying is, as such, the time reasonably required to engage in meal break activities was not part of the employee's 30-minute unpaid meal break, and he was entitled to overtime on that basis.
Wow. So is it likely that these types of claims would affect our sector?
Listen, I'll probably say possibly not. I guess from one perspective, historically, PPE has obviously been, a key component of our sector, and one could assume that the donning of PPE has been factored as a work practice. However, assuming COVID-style lockdowns do continue, and obviously today we probably will have to encompass that, then PPE becomes mandatory for an indefinite period. Then yes, I guess maybe consideration must be given.
Do you have any final thoughts for us?
I think really the only thing I could say, Bree, is that I think members must be and need to be vigilant around the donning of PPE, specific around break times. I think this decision throws that in the mix.
Thanks for taking us through that case, Jim.
Thanks, Bree. See ya.